light. We're in wonderful temporary accommodations here, thanks to a very, very dear friend, May God bless her. Um, anyway, I wanted to give a quick update. Let me get rid of that beeping. And if this time, if there is a siren, which there was a few minutes ago, I will just close the computer and post on Telegram what the status is. So if you're not on my Telegram, then I think if you want to know more and you want to be part of things, then get on. Okay, it doesn't look like anybody is on yet, which is a little surprising since we had a couple hundred before, but okay, maybe it's starting now. Anyway, there's always a replay. So I just want to give you a few insights and a few quick updates. Things are happening faster and faster. We are hearing from holy people, and I posted a link to a video from the Lubavitcher Rebbe during the Gulf War, and all are leading to the same exact point, and that point is we must trust God and have no fear at all. And when it comes to Israel especially, Israel is not, and this is actually a part of today's reading from the learnings from the Tanya, from the premier classic text of Chabad Hasidus, that Israel has a special channel to God. I know there are jokes about that, but it's actually, that works. It's actually true. And the nations, God goes through what's called a sar, a ministering angel, that actually orders around and controls the leader of the nation. And the Torah says that the hearts of leaders and nations are in the hands of Hashem, of God, and it's a mechanism. It goes through the angel. Not that the angels are independent. Angels in general are not in any way independent. Angels are actually like a mechanism, like a morphic field, or like the engine of the car. God is the driver. They follow the instructions. So each nation has an angel, and that angel represents the collective consciousness and merit and destiny of the people in that nation. And so it's a filtered flow. But I want to say here that in our times, every individual can surpass that, because we're also taught that even though astrology has truth to it, we're not allowed to predict with astrology. That's the Jewish people. And again, I'm here to say, anyone who joins our mission, who loves the Torah, the Jewish people, the land of Israel, God, and wants to be on this journey, the same thing will apply. Not all the same exact laws apply, but the same protection can apply, because we're in it together, and ultimately everybody will be serving God as one. That is an absolute prophecy, and we're on our way. So we can have our direct providence, but in Israel, the providence is always direct. That's something to remember, that it's personal and it's direct, and there's no intervening force whatsoever. So in accordance with our relationship with God, and Erev Shabbos, right before Shabbat, when we just had a siren, I don't want to elaborate too much, but in accordance with our consciousness, we will see a direct flow from above that alters the course of reality, the course of nations, the course of everything, and provides absolute protection. Why did something happen with absolute protection? That's a question that we cannot answer. There are still some things that we have to say, that certain souls were chosen, or I don't know. I don't even want to say anything about it. We're not allowed to give any answers or even attempt to answer. But it is imperative for us as warriors with God, as souls that came down to usher in redemption, which all souls came down to usher in redemption. It is imperative that we not get stuck on that, and that we shift our consciousness to trusting God, which is an even more supernatural effort and brings an even more supernatural reward, because it's hard when you're triggered. When you're triggered to fear, you're not in touch with your soul. So once again, I just want to take a moment before we go any farther to invite everybody, close your eyes for a moment and say to yourself, there is a deeper part of me that's not inside of this drama, that is far deeper, far bigger, that is absolutely connected with God, that is free, that is eternal, infinite, inviolable, and that has the ultimate source of my power, for which my soul came down. And then let me feel. Let me connect, whether I feel or not. Let me open to feel that bedrock of me. And we're asking Hashem, we're asking God that we live with that, part of what's happening without a doubt. And there have been many good things that have happened over the past years, much awakening, which we've talked about a lot in my school and in our classes and in lives, and not only with me. Everybody knows there's something waking up inside of each of us, and what's happening now is it's getting biblical. It's got to get biblical, because God does not want to share this story with anybody else, not with our friends, whoever they may be, and not with our enemies, and it's God alone. But we fight for God, not we fight for God. How do I put this? We become connected with God in such a way that we support and become vessels for God's war. And that is through learning Torah, that is through learning the mystical Torah, that is through loving our fellow Jew and our fellow human being, not the terrorists. We don't love terrorists. We don't embrace evil. Evil must be eradicated. This is one of the core mitzvahs that precedes the redemption, the eradication of Amalek. What is Amalek? Amalek is that baseless hatred that fights. Its only purpose is to fight against God, his people, his destiny, his Torah, his land. Don't be on the side of Amalek. We're seeing right now who everybody is, where they are. And a lot of people will wake up and switch sides as they get out of the lies and manipulation and MK Ultra programming. But it's imperative that we understand what's happening. This is God's war. This is the prophecy war. How do I know that even more intensely? Because I've been saying that for a while. And as I just heard Rabbi Manis Friedman say, that in every war since Israel was established, people assume it's Gog and Magog, and there are even opinions that the world wars were part of Gog and Magog, but it's not one war. It's taken place over time. But what is Gog and Magog specifically in the military sense? Gog and Magog is the nations of the world, Esav, the West, Europe, the Christians that are not on board, Esav, Esau, Ishmael, and again, anybody has free choice whether they want to stick with the side of Amalek or stick with the side of God. And so Esav, Ishmael, and the Erev Rav that will unite together to try to take Jerusalem away from the Jews. Just guess what the latest news is that I just heard. Putin just called upon Israel to establish a Palestinian state. Oh, bring more of our enemies right into our heart. That's what God is here. With East Jerusalem as its capital. Divide Jerusalem. Interestingly, I lived in Crown Heights, the neighborhood of the Rebbe, for many years. What a blessing, what a zchut, a privilege and honor and education. I downloaded so much. He said many years ago, probably now it's 40 years ago, I can't say exactly, and at that time, nobody dared mention, it was shortly after Yom Kippur War, not sure, I made 10 years, I don't remember exactly, 20 years, whatever. Nobody dared to suggest that we should give away our land that we fought so hard and so many people died for, and after the Holocaust, to our enemies at that time. And nobody dared suggest that Jerusalem be divided because it would have been the end for them politically. And he said in public, they're plotting behind closed doors to give away Jerusalem. And he said to a politician, Geula Cohen, that it looks like Jerusalem will have to be reconquered again. So this is the Gog and Magog, and we are players. And it's not an accident that suddenly all of the world is under threat of attack. People don't get to just sit in their comfortable homes and listen to the media and sympathize with people who, I don't want to say, I'm staying out of it. They're not people. This is a raw, cold cruelty. Now, it's true that the real Amalek, the source of Amalek, is the elite, the deep state, whatever you want to call them, the puppet masters, and whatever energies they're downloading. We all have different thoughts and opinions about that, and none of us actually knows. But it doesn't. So that is the real enemy. But anybody who's willing to be used in that way needs to be killed, like a vicious, wild, rabid animal. I'm not commenting on how the war is being conducted. I don't know how much we're seeing is true and how much is a psyop. I can tell you for an absolute fact that there was a massacre, and my youngest daughter, all on her own, lost 3 friends, and a lot of people in Israel lost friends. And knowing these barbarians, there's absolutely no reason to doubt that anything happened. And we know, we know. But in general, there is something weird going on here, and we can feel it energetically. At least I can feel it energetically. It's like we're in some kind of a bubble, and there is a lot of I think there's a lot happening for show. Like in Sfat, where I am in the north of Israel, the last few days, we got the last siren we got, the red alert app, which you can download, showed a massive bombardment of this whole part of Israel. And we were told that they flew in, the terrorists on light aircraft with armed, and we should stay in our locked rooms. And anyway, it turned out a little while later that they hacked the Red Alert app, and nothing actually happened, or at least nothing happened that wasn't immediately taken care of. Who knows? And again, I don't know who. There's a 100% collusion. This is 100% an inside job. The Erev Rav is real. The Zohar says that these are the mixed multitude that was converted into the Jewish people at the time of the Exodus. They followed the people out. These are Pharaoh's sorcerers who oppressed the Jews, then realized that they were on the losing side and wanted to run and be part of it. And they continued the war inside a fifth column. Some people say that about the number 3, REICH. A lot of people say that it's now number 4, and now it's inside all of the intelligence agencies. I absolutely believe that. That's a Molech. And it has to be eradicated. So what is the main thing I'm on here to say? That our faith, our trust, our confidence, our understanding that this is a divine war, that this is God's war, will protect us more and more, will protect the Jews in Israel, the Jews everywhere, and decent people everywhere. Our spreading truth, we are all, people like to talk about being digital warriors. Well, now it's time to be digital warriors for God. Okay? For God, and God's people, and God's plan, and God's land. So there's so much disgusting stuff going out there, and even I have to say that at least one of the influencers that I have promoted and trusted, more or less, is coming out really ugly. She's posting pictures of Jewish weddings where they write, at least one where they write, "Thank God G-D," as Jews do, to protect God's name from being erased or defaced or taken to the bathroom. And she's like, why can't they say God? Are they afraid to say God? Or she posted something, a video of, I'm doing a live stream, guys, a video of Jews dancing with the Torah. And she said, these are the Jews dancing for the deaths of Gaza. Pure evil. I mean, we don't know. But what we do know is we have the souls of lions. We are God's people. This is God's war. And the way for us to win it is trust and faith, learn about redemption. We have to learn, as the Rebbe said, the fastest way to bring redemption is to learn everything about redemption from the Torah in a manner of Chachma, Bina, and Das, from all of the sources. In a way, Chachma, Bina, and Das means that we will not only have it as a concept, but as an internalized reality, to share it. It is absolutely known that Jewish people putting on tefillin, the phylacteries, those boxes, if you've ever seen pictures, if you're not Jewish, that makes the enemies afraid. Why are the enemies not afraid? Why do they dare to do this? Because the powers that be, the collaborators, the treacherous betrayers, worked with them. And I'm not going to emphasize that right now here because I have other things to say. But that is coming out and will come out and needs to come out, and they all need to go down. They're responsible for every evil that's happened in this world, here and all around the world. And I think we all know that by now. So if you can help, there are campaigns to help buy tefillin. There are campaigns to help people go out in the streets, not just in Israel, everywhere, and help Jewish people to put on tefillin. Every time that happens, it brings fear into the hearts of the enemies. The Rebbe says it specifically. To have a kosher mezuzah on every door of every Jewish home. This every mezuzah, again, I'm quoting the Rebbe, every mezuzah that we put on any door protects every home. We're all in it together. To show joy, to sing, to say psalms, to Tehillim. This is a huge, huge segula, protective healing remedy from above for every kind of good. And we have to do it not from angst and anguish, not with that energy, but from joy, from confidence. How does a warrior set himself up to win? Confidence, connection to the commander, trust, and no fear. So that's what each of us is here to do. Let me just think if there's anything else that I can add. Giving tzedakah, giving charity, massive. It says in the Torah that tzedakah saves us from death. Tzedakah brings the geula closer. This is going to be a global war. It's not, it more likely, I mean, there is a prophecy. I didn't have time to look it up, but there's a question between two sages. I'll make it a point. I'll try my best to remember to do this after Shabbat. But between there are two opinions. Well, there's a question asked, why, when Mashiach is ready to come, when the Redeemer is ready to come, why does he delay? That's a question a lot of us are asking, because according to the Kabbalah, and according to the Rebbe and all of the, signs of the Torah and the prophecies, we've long past the date when the redemption was supposed to come. Actually, it's in process, but we need to be vessels for it. So what is one of the things that the Torah says is delaying it, or the last thing that's delaying it? And it says a war between Edom and Paras. Edom and Paras. Now, I want to remind you that every prophecy, this is the law of prophecy, every prophecy can come true literally or it can come true spiritually. As long as we get to the point that the prophecy is here to bring us to, God doesn't want to hurt us. He just wants us to wake up, get with the program. So the war is specifically between Edom, which is the West, and Paras, which is Persia, which is Iran. So everybody's a soldier in this war, and it's not just because you sympathize or empathize with us, because the whole world, and this is the promise of the positive prophecy, will serve God in joy and peace, and bring sacrifices to the temple, and see God and feel God, and serve God as one, with one language, with one common tongue, and so many more. There will be no more sickness, no more war, no more poverty, no more hunger, no more jealousy and competition, no more lies, no more deception. And every person will be able to live in joy and forever in rectified bodies, like the Garden of Eden on steroids, because in the Garden of Eden, there was a snake. We internalized the snake, and we've suffered from the snake for all this time since then. But now the snake is ready to be blown out of the water. What is the snake? You can call it the deep state. You can call it the ruling bloodlines. You can call it Amalek. You can call it that the resonance of that within each of us, our own doubts and fears, and wanting to put other people down, and judgments of others that come from ourselves. And again, absolute distinction between evil demons and regular humans who are brainwashed by evil demons. This is crucially important, because the other thing that is, we're told that the second temple was destroyed because of something called sinat chinam, which is baseless hatred, which is just a feeling that another person is, they're not that they came after you and stole your money. That's hatred that's based on something. Even that is not advised, but baseless hatred is, you hate somebody because of the way they think. You hate somebody because they're more successful than you, or you hate somebody because they don't agree with you, whatever it is. And we're promised that the reconstruction of the temple, the eternal, the third temple, that will never be destroyed, that will be a portal between heaven and earth, the source of light for all peoples, and life, infinite life in the physical, in the rectified, upgraded, amazing, glorious physical for all people, that will be restored through ahavat chinam, which is baseless love. What is love? How do we usually love? So somebody makes us feel good, or they do nice things for us, so our heart responds and we love them. That's not baseless love. That's not unconditional love. Unconditional love is when you don't have to, but you take the time, you make the deep effort to look into where that person's triggering you. Again, I'm not talking about demons. There are a lot of demons in human flesh. I'm talking about people who are brainwashed by demons, or people who have ego issues, or people who are insecure, or people who have bad behavior. On an ordinary basis, those people we have to look at with compassion. We have to look in ourselves, because the Torah explains that when you're triggered by someone in any way, it's because there's something in you that you're repressing, that you're not seeing. So this is an incredible opportunity for us to remove the covers on ourselves and to restore the temple through that work that we do. It's all one thing. Okay, I'm just looking to see if there are any questions, and then I'm going to check. I made a few notes earlier today. I'm going to ask you to share these videos and to join my Telegram group, and to watch the video that I posted in the link under this YouTube from the Rebbe, that people coming to the Rebbe during the Gulf War. People were telling him that they were going to places where there were missiles flying, and should they be afraid? And he said, no. And should they not go? Absolutely, you must go. You're not allowed not to go. It's against the code of Jewish law not to go, and certainly to leave. And God will show miracles, and there have been miracles. Yes, there was incredible trauma. I want to say one more thing to you guys. What happened looked like the Holocaust and felt, but we are in a different time, and that's part of our trust and faith, and we see evidence that we're in a different time. Even if Israel, the state that we thought was our refuge forever, was taken over by demonic parasitical forces, was set up for that, it doesn't mean that God didn't give it to us. The Rebbe said so many times, all the Jews have to do is to settle the land, every part of the land. They don't even have to publicize it, just settle it, just take it. God's giving it to us, just take it. And there will be no war and no reason even for weapons. And nobody will die, not innocent Jews, not innocent Christians, not innocent Arabs, not innocent Muslims, not innocent Buddhists, not innocent anyone. The peace of the world depends upon the Jewish relationship to this land. I want to make that absolutely clear. And your job, one of your many jobs, is to also make it absolutely clear to everyone you know. People think that the truth is that the demonic forces, the whatever we call them, the DS, they know that they're lying when they say that when we give away land, it brings peace. They don't want peace. They want our destruction. And they know that when they can get the Jewish people to give away their land and make themselves and disarm themselves and make themselves weak, it will cause destruction of the world. And then they brainwash people in all the ways that they've been, through the media, through education, through frequency, whatever it is, through politics, to believe that too. It's our job to unwind, and that's another prophecy of the time, to unwind the lies, to become wise and discern the truth from the lies, and to help other people do it too. There's not a human being in this world right now that didn't come back for this war. There is not, yes, to pray for Jerusalem, but also to pray, to learn the truth, spread the truth, not just about politics, not just about military, not even just about what the Torah says, prophecy, which is also important, about who you are, who we all really are. This essence of our being is now meant to squeeze through, like birth, to squeeze through the human consciousness until our human consciousness is divine. And that is the reward. That is what's on the table as we engage out of fear, from fear into faith, from disconnection and judgment into unity with the heart of every good person, no matter how covered up it is. And as we uncover our own heart, it says that God will circumcise our hearts at the end of days, meaning that separation, that ego, that little snake, remnant of the snake, that is happening now. You can feel it and see it here. You can see it. I feel like I can feel how, and again, I'm saying this especially because my son-in-law is standing here, and he's a Kohen, and he's really mad. So I just want to say that God says that our hearts will not be able to be open till he circumcises that inner core of the heart. And that is what is happening now. That's what's up right now. And we all need to participate in it in every possible way. So please watch this again. I've given a lot of suggestions. I will give more. Is the head covering creating unity? But let me just finish my thoughts. Let me just check if there's anything I meant to say that I didn't say. Our strength gives each other strength. Our love makes each other love. Our faith and trust gives faith and trust to each other, and it arouses the inner part of the soul that is meant to be aroused in these times. Kamayim panim lapanim. The Torah says, Kamayim panim lapanim kain lev ha'adam la'adam. Like water reflects the face that is shown to the water. I've talked about this before. So too the heart of a person to another. Open your inner heart. God is helping you circumcise your heart, and it will help you to open other people's hearts as well. And on a deeper level, and a lot of people have been seriously MK ultra'd. We all have to a degree. So look at the programmers, not the programmed. Again, they want us to blame each other. Even religious authorities, repent, you're bad. No, we're not bad, we're amazing. That we're still standing up and being good and even getting better after everything that's happened, with everything that's happened, we're amazing. So hate the programmers, the MK ultra programmers, and not the programmed, and not the parts of yourself that are programmed. Work with God to circumcise your heart. And here's just a few more things I want to say. There are several of these, but I have just a couple I want to share. Havayat Silcha. The Torah says that God is your shadow, that God set up the world in such a way, because this is his innermost desire, that we make the first move and he follows us. Trach gut wird sein gut. In Yiddish, think good and it will be good. True, relaxed trust. This is a matrix. I trust God, and not only that, my trust in God changes everything. I'm not a victim, I'm a co-creator. That, when it's integrated in you, or even you're making the effort, brings incredible miracles and protection. Da malamali mimcha, that it says in the Ethics of the Fathers that we have to know what's above us, but the explanation of the Mezritch Magid is that we have to know that what is above us is from us. And then again, the verse that I said a bit ago, Kamayim panim lapanim, Kain leva adam ela adam. This doesn't just apply that when the heart that you showed, the face you showed to the water or to another person reflects back from them what you just showed them, but this refers to us and God. And a while back, I shared a mimer, a deep discourse of the Lubavitcher Rebbe, where he talked about that. So as we change, as we arouse and awaken and get and activate and get connected with that deeper inner part of ourselves that knows that this is God's word, that we are a piece of God, that it's all part of the redemption, that it's good, that it's miraculous, that we're protected, that we're safe, that's what comes down from above. And the reason why that is what comes down from above is because that is the way God's very essence designed the world, because that is what he wants. He wants us to empower ourselves to connect with him and our own selves and each other and our power on such a deep level that everything changes. And that is redemption. And it's happening now. Okay, I'm just going to look and see. You guys, do you know if Sderot was evacuated?
They said it was evacuated.
Okay, that they said, but we haven't talked to anybody in Sderot, and I haven't really looked. I don't know. I know that Metula in the north they said is a closed military zone. I mean, I assume that most of the news is like that kind of news where people could easily say, no, we're still in Sderot. I'm assuming that that's accurate. But everything else, who knows? You know, the news that they give us, I think there's God's war going on here. There's our personal war going on here with ourselves to reveal ourselves there. And then there's like, the psyops for the good, and then there's the psyops for the bad. And it's kind of hard to distinguish between those. So it's good for us to stick with our job. Way better, especially because when we get into their news, even if it's designed to protect us, it's a lot of the time it's going to distract us and it's going to weaken us. I'm just watching myself. Every time I hear something scary, I'm like, and I feel the energy, and then I'm like, no, there was a siren. I went in the room. My kids were in a less protected place. They were sitting on the porch, whatever, I'll tell you one more thing. When someone close to me joined the U.S. Army many years ago, I was very against it and very nervous. And somebody told me a story of the previous Rebbe from the Second World War, where during the holiday of Sukkot, the Jews in Europe asked if they should build the sukkah, which is this open booth out in the open, because there were bombs. And he said, absolutely, build the sukkah and sit in the sukkah. Every bomb has an address. It's not going to go to the wrong address. So that's one thing to remember. And another thing that happened at that time, which is much sadder but made a huge impact on me, was it happened to be my son. My son said to me when I said, don't join. That was during the Iraq War. And I didn't think it was a just war either. Some of what was happening. Never mind that. But I said, it's dangerous. And he said, anything could happen to anyone, anywhere. And it was just so ironic and so tragically empowering that within a week or so, there was news of the 3 or 4 people, officers from the recruitment center in our town or in the next town, that got in a car accident and they died. So this is another thing that we have to know, because the world is a matrix and it exists in a way. And Chassidus says this, because there's a verse in the Torah that says, Ani havaya lo shaniti, I'm God, I don't change. So what is the world? The question is asked, what is the world? Like before there wasn't a world, now there is a world. So, and everything's God. So, and the answer is that it's a tiny change. The change is only that now there's a perception of a reality that's not only God, that's physical, that's separate, that has life of its own, that has power of its own. So when we change our perception, when we realize that this is a kind of matrix, it is a simulation that we're living in for divine reasons, because this is what gives us the power to become real and to become partners with God, and ultimately to be deeply in love, in passionate love affair with God. Chassidus says that as well. But the more we realize that, and the more we change our perception, the more we connect outside of the matrix. I could quote you so many sources for this, but we'll just leave it at that. The more we can do that, the more reality changes, because all it is perception, our collective and individual perception. And there was a time before this most recent time when we could not see that. It was a time of darkness when the Torah says, Haster Aster Panim, God will turn his head. But once the time of redemption arrived in around 1991, which the Vilna Gaon predicted would be in that year, and the Rebbe said, the time of our redemption has arrived, and many events happened. And once that happened, and even before that happened, with the and I hesitate to say it, it's not the establishment of the Jewish state, but the prophesied return of the Jewish people to their own land, as turbulent and corrupt as that might have been in some ways. That was all of these things that we see are fulfillment of prophecies of redemption. And it's a process, but we are really in the climax right now. Can I say that there won't be some, lull, or that there won't be some, I can't say that for sure. But if they're fighting, if they're already calls to take Jerusalem away from the Jews, this is classic Gog and Magog. Classic Gog and Magog. Okay, I think that's it. Once a person knows God is real, the whole game changes. Yeah. It's natural reaction to react 100%. Every reaction is just an opportunity to see what's still in you and to work with it and to have compassion on yourself. And we have to. The judgment has to stop. It has to stop. It's toxic. It keeps us separate when the main thing that will heal us is our unity. So if you're judging yourself harshly, you're going to be judging other people harshly, and you're doing the devil's work. And, we've been programmed to think that that's righteous. It's not righteous. It's deadly. The military-industrial complex, we'll see what happens with that. It's very interesting that there are aircraft carriers here and that there are strike forces here, and the word is U.S. military forces are on the ground. And I don't believe that everybody's bad. I just believe that everybody is playing their role, and God is in charge, and God is waiting for us to show him, where we are, and then to bring down the flow of divine providence accordingly. Okay, everybody, have a beautiful, peaceful Shabbat. Stay safe wherever you are, and keep the faith and tell the truth. Seek the truth and tell the truth. Again, that's not just politics. That's not just, toxic pharmaceuticals. That's not just corruption. It's also the truth from the Torah. It's mainly the truth from the Torah. And the Torah is the blueprint for creation, and it applies to everything. There's no separateness here. Okay, we don't care what Biden does. Anyway, Biden's not even real. All right. We care what God does, and God cares what we do, and it's that simple. So please like this video, comment, share with your friends, because that's how we spread the word. Take care. Shabbat shalom. Mashiach now.